Hey everyone, it's Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com, and it's the end of the day here in my Friday class, and I just want to share with you some drawings that I've been doing, and today was all about how to draw the hand and foot. So I'm filming from my iPhone, and I don't think I'm going to be able to draw with the iPhone in one hand and a pencil in my other hand, but let's just go through my pad, and I want to point out some things for you. Okay, so basically, if we look at some of these drawings, basically we were doing first studies of the foot, and different techniques with the foot, and then we were also doing some hands, okay, and we were also doing some things what not to do, okay. So first, I'm holding my pencil and holding the camera with one hand. This is not cool because I already feel like I'm shaking, but first what I just want to introduce to you guys is this peanut shape. Okay, huge, and then another peanut shape right over here. And even if we look at this foot, you can, when you're drawing somebody's foot, you can either be highly organic or you can be really structural and very surface planey, if that's a word. So I'm thinking a lot of surface planes with this foot, and I'm thinking a lot of round organic shapes with that foot. Ultimately, what you guys got to do is you got to combine the two. All right, so then we kind of move over here, and I'm starting to combine the two a little bit. If you could see that I got my peanut shape. I'm holding the pencil with my left hand, which is really kooky right now. And then we have our secondary peanut shape for the ball of the foot down to the toe, and then that other foot. So it's very important just to focus on hands and feet every once in a while, and just kind of try to render them. They're really tricky, and it's something that you want to really focus on. So your hands don't kind of start to get lost. And when you draw hands specifically, it's super important to think about, this block shape of the back of your hand, and then drawing all of your fingers together, and then going on in and separating your fingers and adding the little blocks to each individual finger, surface planes. So I kind of like the way that one came out. It was a quick, 4 or 5 minute drawing. This one too, I'm teaching the students the big main block. You see that block that I drew over there to the right? That's how I think when I'm drawing this hand first, and then I draw the fingers. Okay, it's also very, very important to draw the forearm, or at least part of it when you're drawing a hand. Like you see over here, I drew the forearm, and I really took my time with it, and then I rolled on into that hand, and again, thinking about surface planes, thinking about the box from here to here, side plane, top plane, kind of front plane with that hand. And so don't outline each individual finger. That's important. And just try to think of the surface planes as best as you can. But what is the big point that I'm really trying to make here with this very quick YouTube drawing tip? Basically, if you're in a classroom situation and the teacher's asking you to do these little studies, and you're doing these little studies, ultimately you're going to have to start drawing the figure again. So you want to think about gesture, and I'm just having a hard time turning the page. So don't forget about the gesture of the pose. So I did this just maybe a 1 or 2 minute quick gesture pose, and everyone after we did the hands and the feet forgot about gesture and forgot about movement. So, think about how this thing cruises on down, the gesture of the pose, the weight of the pose. Think about your opposite C's, how that kind of cruises on down. Think about the perspective of the model. Don't lose sight of those big things like the gesture, the weight, and the opposite C's, plus the perspective while you're drawing the hands and the feet. Because you can get lost as an art student. You get caught up in all these little new techniques that you learn, but don't forget about the big picture. The big picture is you're drawing a human being, and you got to get the gesture, and you got to try to get the weight of the pose. I mean, even the drawing right next to it, I'm kind of trying to show the students about the big gesture of the form, okay? And if we kind of cruise back on over here to the first drawing of the day, before we got into the hands and feet, I really kind of dig that pose. It's really gestural, it's really quick, and you can see the movement of the body. So I'm really just focusing on opposite C, coming on down here to the feet, and I give myself the target for the feet. So this is more important than being able to render that hand. Because you can render a hand, you can render a foot, but if you can't get the gesture of the body, then your drawings are just ultimately going to be really, really stiff. So these were the first few drawings I did when I came in today, and so then we got into the hands and the feet. But I should have, as a teacher, I should have mentioned this first, do your gesture, but I mentioned it towards the end of the class because everyone started getting really stiff. So one technique alone is not going to, you have to use all the techniques. This was something cool. I just want to share this with you. This is something cool that we were working on the week before. We were combining vine charcoal with a little bit of watercolor, and we had this really cool costume guy who was doing all this funky costume stuff. And let me just see what I have on the previous page. Yeah, no, that's the Michelin Man with a thong. We'll save that for another tip. Okay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.